Oh, I watched Evil Dead Rise. I don't know.
Do you like the Evil Dead movies?
I've seen them.
Did you see the remake from like 6-7 years ago
I
or something?
actually didn't. This was kind of a. I saw it on Max. They have all the Evil Dead movies on there now, and I saw Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness fairly recently, like probably like recent for me, 9 years ago in my adult life, because
Yep.
I missed that whole thing, and I like them. I think they're kind of, the Sam Raimi fun. Like the first Evil Dead feels like a prototype. Evil Dead 2 feels like the real movie that he was trying to make. Army of Darkness is fun. It's kind of like a silly adventure movie with practical effects. It's not quite my bag, but I appreciate it. And Bruce Campbell he's just is a force of nature. He's something else, especially for physical comedy.
Yeah.
And then and so this Evil Dead Rise, I think it's probably the right move for this kind of series, where they gave it to somebody who's like a promising filmmaker, and it's like you can do something with this kind of template where they have a evil Book of the Dead, and the recording is gone off, and then Deadites start possessing people. That's the premise,
And
and
it sounds like Raimi and Campbell were involved
they
as producers.
yeah, they were involved as producers, but it was, they gave it to somebody else to direct, and they did it.
It is canon. It's part of that series.
I don't really know.
Seems to be.
It's at least it follows that kind of template very much. There's barely continuity in the Evil Dead.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of, I don't know how much you've seen of the Evil Dead.
Yeah, I've seen them all. Yep. I didn't see the show. That was the only thing I didn't see.
And they kind of like overlap continuity and ignore some things. They're kind of weird with that, but there's a lot of the same themes, and it's fun. It's definitely more of what I like in my horror films is a little bit more going on. Like Black Phone was a recent example where there's more story to it, there's more character. This is definitely more of a visceral horror. Like you're in instead of like a cabin in the woods, it takes place in like a dirty tenement apartment that's like going to be bulldozed, but there's people still living in it. And then the Book of the Dead's read, and they're trapped in that apartment building, somewhat artificially. Like an earthquake like knocks out a staircase and stuff like that. It's very like it's pretty intense for that, like more visceral. Like if you're looking for kind of like the like very much that thrill ride horror, and it's very well shot. There's really clever shots, like peephole shots they do a lot with the peephole and telling the story through the peephole, where you just have that shot with a character looking through and shit happens outside the peephole, and it's like it is pretty terrifying. And I love the Deadites because they're so gleeful in their like chaos and their like menace, and they're funny, but they're scary. and so that they have a lot of personality, they like, it's like when they're trying to kill you, they like insult you, and they make really like, they like really put the lemon juice on your wound. It's like the main female is like pregnant. She finds out she's pregnant, and she's like surviving, and she's trying to take care of like her sister's children, who are kind of left behind after these Deadites possess their mother and stuff. And it's intense. And there's one scene that I shouted like disgust. like I couldn't help but shout disgust, because they do something with a cheese grater which is so vile. Yeah, so if you're into that, it's good. Like it's well made, well shot. It's definitely not, I don't think it has a ton going on, but it has enough going on, and it's a visceral thrill ride. Very well made. some interesting filmmaking. So I recommend if
cool.
you're into the horror and you're not squeamish. It goes there. It goes for everything, and it goes there.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.